The Titans Turn that up. Welcome everyone to some morning NBL of Canada basketball action here from Kitchener. We do apologize for those technical difficulties, but I guess the equipment that needed its first cup of coffee as well to start the day. Dan Paulship here alongside Ian Jodry. Glad you're along with us here live on YouTube. 13-7 your scoreline, as you can obviously tell by the ticker on your screen. This offense on both sides slow to get going. Obviously a tough kind of start for both teams, having to adjust to 11 a.m. game time, as there's a roller there for the Titans, put them up 15-7 now.
And Greg Morrow is really going to be that guy off the bench to match Tyler Haws offensively. We had a great weekend in the two teams road series, and Haws putting up double digits back-to-back nights off the bench, and Morrow is really going to be that guy that has to try and match him. And nice job there cutting to the hoop.
A couple substitutions coming in now for the Edge, with Haws coming out. It'll be Skeet coming in, along with Wally Ellenson, the Rice Lake, Wisconsin native. Some great fishing there in Rice Lake. Been there a few times myself, oddly enough. Fun fact of the day. Here's Ellenson off the inbounds. Ellenson pulls up for that long three off the back rim and out. Titer and Hall both fighting for that rebound, and finally it's Titer coming down with it.
Well, I think if you got those two crashing the boards, you got a pretty high chance of getting the basketball.
Titer getting some early minutes. Not too often we see that from the forward of the Titans, but here's Hall, who's played so impressively as of late, putting up a ton of points. Now a deep three from Ahmad Starks. That doesn't go. Rebound though, and a fresh shot clock solidified by Sutherland. Here's Titer. Fake to Hall, takes it himself. That doesn't get the friendly roll. And it's the Edge with the rebound. Here's Skeet, lobs it in there. Tough pass to handle though in stride, but good effort keeping him bounds there. Baseline.
And Titer got beat back in transition defensively. He was still lagging after missing that easy bucket. Got to get back.
It's Lee handing it off near side to Skeet, working off that high screen, puts a shoulder down, throws it up. No good on the shot, as the referee says, because he is burned on the travel call. So a turnover here by the Edge, 3:35 to go, and we're going to have a timeout on the floor called by head coach Jeff Dunlap of the Edge, who's had an impressive start to his career, not to mention the franchise's really history. Named NBL Canada Coach of the Month for December. Longtime NCAA coach, now plying his trade up here and certainly making waves in the early going.
And Dunlap's definitely going to want to talk to his team after that. 2 straight trips up the floor, and once you got a shot clock violation, a travel, you're putting up single digits with 3.5 left to go on the road. Not the start that he's wanted.
Your officials here this evening: Ross Isley, Mike Hardy, and Ryan Bissonette. And Ross Isley, the crew chief of those three. And it's a loud Kitchener Memorial Auditorium here with close to 4,000 kids. It's the first annual school day game the Titans have hosted. And they're certainly happy to get a day off school, or at least most of the day off school. How'd you get your day off school, Ian? Lame joke as it is. Make sure to send us your comments, thoughts, and feedback on today's game using the YouTube live chat function. We'd love to get to those as permitted throughout today's ball game. Ahmad Starks, the Chicago native, been stellar since joining the Titans roster. Spark plug for this offense, although it hasn't resulted in many wins. Hall off that pass, spin move in the paint, that will roll. Derek Hall continues his strong play, and you just see there how his confidence has really been boosted as of late.
They did everything they could there. They had Hinkle on him tightly. Brempong came in to help on the shot, and still Hall able to muscle his way in using that 7-foot frame. The Edge are going to have to find another way to contain the big man.
Pull up Jay there for the Edge. Little short, Hall with the board. Now Starks is away. Sutherland on the wing, going baseline, hot pass there. Morrow, great job keeping it inbounds, right back to Sutherland. Shoulder down again, and that will get a good roll for Sutherland as that falls through the hoop, and we've got 19-7 Titans lead now, 2:33 left in the frame. Here's Skeet. Gets it over to Hinkle, one more over to the corner. All trying to stay step for step with the guard, but Ellenson's shot there, nice teardrop, will go, bringing the Edge back within 10.
As far as their two off the bench goes, I mean, you're going to rely heavily on Ellenson, who typically wouldn't be playing at this stage of the basketball game, but with Carl English not making the road trip, you're going to expect big things out of Ellenson.
And to touch on that point, Carl English again not making the trip due to a broken nose and a potential concussion that he suffered during the last time these two teams met back in Newfoundland. That, according to Brendan McCarthy of the Telegram. So we certainly wish Carl English a speedy recovery, and I'm sure the Edge do as well. Such a talent there at the national level for Canada, as well as what he did internationally there throughout his career. Always great to welcome a homegrown talent back into the borders here in Canada, and obviously the Edge being the recipients of his strong play, second in the league in scoring. And one of the reasons why this offense is a third ranked in the entire league, just shy of 109 points per game average. Off the inbounds, Ellenson over to Glaze, the little give and go, back to Ellenson. Morrow, one step for step with Williams. 2 on the shot clock, lets the shot fly, a little heavy on the touch, and there is a foul just as that loose ball hit the floor. So did Ellenson, and that garnered the foul call. And that's going to be actually against Ellenson. Interesting. And you might be able to hear the supporters here. There might be a few with a couple Brampton and Toronto natives here on this Edge roster. And obviously one of those fans voicing their displeasure with that call by the official. James off the screen from Titer. That's a tough pass to make and grab as well. Denzel James.
Well, gutsy play from Ellenson right after taking the foul. James going right at Glaze. Ellenson rotates over as the help defender, leaving him basically no option but to pass. And he's got Starks on the other side and overthrows him.
Williams with under a minute to go now in the first quarter. Head fake, trying to catch Arsenault, flat-footed. That was Henry, gets his own rebound, still battling down low, spinning, goes up, blocked there by Titer, but we have a 5-second violation, or 3 seconds in the key, actually. Excuse me, and now 46 seconds exactly remaining in the quarter. The Titans will walk it up with Starks.
Titans absolutely locking it down defensively in the first quarter on the defensive end. You got to think this is a chance to really open the floodgates.
And some good timing on your part there as Starks nails that fadeaway J, putting the Titans up 21-9. Nice pass to Glaze, and rejected again by Titer. He's come out to play. No matter the 11 a.m. start, Henry still fighting down low after that missed shot. He hits the deck.
Ball.
And it will be a Titans ball again. And coming into the ball game now for the Edge, it'll be Čurčić, Vasily Čurčić, the Serbia native. And in terms of other roster moves, Rushan Brodus has been released. A 6-foot guard, no longer with the team, and the Edge bringing in Corin Williams, the 28-year-old former Robert Morris and Wake Forest player in the NCAA. Played last 3 seasons in G League, most recently with the Greensboro Swarm, just under 4 points a game average in 10 games played with them. And the 2 seasons before that, played with the Maine Red Claws. And and would have been teammates with former KW Titan Jason Caliste, who is now in Moncton, I do believe, just signed recently by the Miracle.
A lot of Titans heading out east from Bodiford to Caliste. And
so the Titans with half a floor to work with. 12.9 seconds on the clock, more than enough time for a decent set here. Work the ball around for an open look. That's been their tendency, though, is not doing exactly that. Maybe rushing a few too many shots. They'll be looking for a bit more patience out of their shooters as they move or try to move this ball up the floor. Here's Starks, 10 seconds. They reach in by Corn Williams. And Williams wearing that number 2 for the edge. So Morrow to inbound there at half court. And Starks is covered. He's going to have to get rid of this quickly now. Starks did well just to get a sliver of daylight. Another reach in there by Williams. So quickly 2 personals for him. 4.5 seconds.
This is what the Edge want to do. They have a few fouls to give. You get a guy who doesn't have any fouls. Make them work.
Here's Morrow. Morrow slashing through and a foul called. The charge and some good positioning by the Edges. Jaron Skeet comes up limping a little bit. He took a big brunt of contact. But you know what? You're exactly right. They drain some ample time off the clock, and then you get a foul call. That's a great job by the Edge. Lob from midcourt, well short, and that's how the first quarter will end, with the Titans leading it 21-9 over the visiting St. John's Edge in the first ever school day game here at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. Dan Paulshick here alongside Ian Jodry. Thank you for tuning in live on YouTube for this day affair between these two squads who have become very familiar with each other, obviously playing a lot of action as of late. And this is the start of a extended road swing for the Edge as they're making their way through Ontario.
It's certainly a lockdown first quarter if you're the Titans. I mean, they came out on the defensive end for several misses, a few shot clock violations, and anytime that you're getting Coach Dunlap to burn a few of his timeouts early and going to that kind of lockdown set for their final possession, you know you're in good hands early on. 21-9. So as far as first quarters at home have gone, Dan, this has got to be one of the best ones we've seen all season from the Titans.
Well, Titans certainly keeping it simple shooting-wise. One reason why they're shooting 56.3% from the floor. St. John's just 19% on 4 of 21 shooting. That's 1 of 3 as well from three-point range. But the Titans working hard on the glass, 16 to St. John's 9, as well as 14 defensive rebounds. So forcing a lot of tough shots and cleaning up the garbage are the Titans in the early going of this one.
The big men down low doing it. Derek Hall, as we expected. Nigel Title, of course, filling in a larger role when him and Rogers are both on the bench. And so far they've done about half their points coming in that inside area.
Second quarter play is brought to you by Oxford Learning.
Derek Hall coming off a double-double, 22 points, 17 rebounds in that 10-point loss to the Edge a few days ago. Here's Lee. Inside it goes. Churchich, pull-up J from the free throw line, doesn't go, a little shy, and it's Ahmad Starks picking up that loose ball. Starks down low. Here's Rogers banking off the glass. Looked like he was a little apprehensive at first to take that, but a good decision in the end for number 23. Makes it 23-9 on the scoreboard for the Titans.
Yeah, Rogers on Desmond Lee, that's a mismatch, and take that all day.
And Rogers getting a little healthier since suffering a bit of a knee injury before the Titans headed out east. Another turnover. Here's Starks. Going one-on-one with Johnson. Arsenault. The Acadia grad. Gets it right now. Deep three for him, and that's nowhere near the mark. Uncharacteristic of Arsenault, who had a prodigious career at the U Sports level in the AUS.
Just looked a little bit too forced there. It didn't exactly have the high percentage look that he's used to, a bit deep. Back-to-back turnovers now.
Here's Morrow with numbers. Arsenault with him, drops it off for James, and that'll roll in for Desmond James. Denzel James with a strong take to the hoop, and it has the Titans up 25-9.
Like that find from Morrow. He knows that Arsenault, despite being a better option there, is not going to be your guy to take it to the hoop. Instead, he's got James, he's unmarked running in, picking up the dime.
And looking maybe spark his offense a quick substitution here to start the second. Ellenson back in.
The bigger surprise being Hinkle heading off, who has been arguably their second best player after English on the roster.
Backing down Arsenault. That's Henry, and good strong take himself down low. 25-11 now. Starks directing traffic. Morrow with the cut down low, comes up the middle of the key. Rogers will get the pass now. Back to the basket. Couple dribbles. Churches. Now a corner three. And that won't go. Off the top of the backboard. And Morrow again competing for that rebound. And that level of compete is one reason why Morrow is certainly in the good books of head coach Serge Landis. And for really all this season. Second-year player out of Western University.
It seems like we say it every week, how much he helps in almost every aspect of the game. And there he showed it there, his tenacity on the box out.
Here's Morrow. Bit of a head fake. Decides to take the three. Maybe ill-advised there. Good challenge, though, with the offensive board. The turnaround J doesn't go for Rogers. Now the other way, the edge with Johnson. Has speed and a screen. Cut off baseline. Gets back out for Henry. Henry. He's looking to get rid of it. Now goes one-on-one with Hall. Spinning. Floater doesn't go. Hall can't clamp down that rebound. But we've got Henry interfering with that process, so he gets the foul call. And that's his first personal of the ball game. Ahmad Starks with just 2 points so far. Pull up three, though, for James, as he was able to set his feet there.
That's another defensive lap on Desmond Lee. That's his man to watch, and wide open look for James.
Darren Duncan, best three-point shooter for the Titans, and there is a bit of a tip away by Hall. Use the backboard to kind of swat it away as that took a couple bounces, and just making sure that no edge player could just bank it off himself. Derek Hall, again, showing some good aggressiveness down low, as you would expect from a 7-footer.
Love the aggressiveness, but I don't think he was really aware of where he was on the floor. He had no one around him and had plenty more time to get his feet set, but instead settled for a bit of a reach on the box out and leads to edge ball.
Henry decides to take that shot, doesn't fall. And Henry,
that's Rogers,
having his own struggles in there. Yeah, exactly right. Rogers will have the foul call against him. So Brempong here to inbounds.
Without English in the lineup, the rhythm for this edge rotation really seems just a bit messed up almost. Not quite the team and the looks that fans have been used to seeing this year, and they haven't really found an answer yet today for them.
Just 2 points so far in the second quarter, as the Titans look to maybe extend this run and increase their lead even more. Here's Morrow, corner three, rattles out. Hall, though, trying to tip that ball loose, and we're going to have a jump ball.
That'll be edge ball.
Yeah, they haven't made the call there, and finally they do. It is an edge ball. And Hall complaining that he was held up there with his left arm. That's going to fall on deaf ears, and we'll have a TV timeout now with 7:51 to go. In the first half, 28-11, the Titans continue maintaining their lead, although it's increased now to 17 points. As the offensive struggles continue for the edge, and they're just looking to get something going as Coach Dunlap kind of in a unique position, one he hasn't been in all season, so he's certainly going to be tested with the talent he has available to him.
I'm just surprised at the guys that we're not seeing more of, guys like Brandy Glaze and Charles Hinkle, ones that we saw make a big impact in their last trip to the Odd, and even more so on the weekend, who have kind of been there to compliment Carl English and be there for him when he's having a down night. Seems to be a bit more of a test out the lineup, knowing that they've got this road swing ahead of them in the Central Division. Kind of trying to see what rotation they're going to be able to work with in these next few games on the road, and so far they just seem to be doing a bit of a lineup juggle.
And for Hinkle, last game against the Titans, put up double digits again. Pair of games against KW had 11 points, 14 the first time these two teams met.
Not to mention the 31 on Saturday night.
Certainly has had or enjoyed playing KW so far. We've seen a few players really stand out against this Titans team who've had their struggles. Obviously, it's been noted. But it's that point in the season where these players are certainly feeling the heat and looking to turn this thing around at 2-11, sitting dead last in the NBL Canada. A long way to go yet in this campaign, 40-game campaign. I'm sure Serge Langis has told them essentially they just have to focus right now on the Windsor Express and catching up on them, although the Express have played darn good basketball as of late. It's easier said than done. It's tough division they're in, but with the Express sitting at 7-10, not much ground to make up. Just have to start winning some ball games to help out your cause.
And the big one's going to be the head-to-head matchups, which, another thing, easier said than done with the Express essentially having their numbers since coming into the league, and that's how you pass those teams ahead of you.
Wow, when Logan Stutz is doing Logan Stutz things as a former MVP on a consistent basis, you have to figure you have to shut him down to give yourself a chance. But either way, here today, they're doing a good job shutting down the edge, although not in that instance, as some good ball distribution leads to an easy lay-in there. 28-13 now. KW, ooh, tough pass there for Rogers, nearly connected with Hall, but tipped it last second. I think he was hoping that it went off the edge player, but in fact it went off Hall's fingertip.
Yeah, and it looked like Sutherland would have been in good position to try and make the save there. The ball was heading out of bounds, but just based on Hall's body language, he assumed that it was going to stay Titans ball.
6:50 to go in the second quarter. Quick pass inside, dished off. Sharing the ball well as Hinkle went up and then battled for that rebound. I think it banked off his leg, they're saying. He's shaking his head in disgust.
And Hall got beat there on that last play, but great rotation at the last second to get over there and get a hand in his face and just cause enough disruption on a very high percentage look.
And credit the Titans for not giving up on that play as they collapsed defensively and certainly made the second chance opportunity null and void. Duncan over for Hall. Has an open lane. Down low, spinning, one-handed floater, that'll go. Nice hook there from Hall. 30-13 now. The Titans holding the edge. No pun intended. And diving for that loose ball was tipped away and a foul called against St. John's.
Already 8 turnovers for the edge, and the Titans have certainly made them pay with double digits as far as points off turnovers have gone.
A foul going against Ransford Brempong. slowing it down here, Darren Duncan. Johnson has done a good job against him defensively. Duncan yet to get on the score sheet, but other Titans getting the job done. With Hall, they're going up strong. And he's got to continue doing more of that, certainly. Always tough to defend against a 7-footer like number 35. And more often than not, he's going to at least draw a foul call.
Well, there's really only two guys on the floor who are even in question of being able to guard him, and Brengpong and Hingle. That time, they both got caught on the exterior, and Hall took full advantage of that. There's nothing left that you can do there but try and foul and prevent an easy layup.
As a team, the Titans 68.8% free throw shooters. They've had their struggles from the charity stripe this season. Certainly compounded things when you look at their record too. And now off the ball, Hall and Hinkle getting quite physical, and Hinkle took the worst of it in the end, and a little overzealous was Hall.
That's the second on Hall, so imagine Coach Lanch is going to keep him in for now, but if he picks up another one or starts to look tired or starts laboring in the next few minutes here,
see tighter come in maybe.
You've got this comfortable lead. There's no reason to not leave your best player for later stages of the game.
There's Johnson, works off that high screen, takes to the hoop, and Rogers was flying in there for potential block off the window. But Johnson did just enough. Had an extra step. Nice lob pass, Sutherland to Hall, off the window and in. What a pretty play there, connecting Sutherland to Hall.
What a pass from Sutherland. Goes back shoulder and just drops it in for Hall. He's left unmarked inside, and at that point as a defense, all you can do is try and foul him and hope that he doesn't get the easy lay-in or the slam. So this time he's got a chance for three.
And he does indeed finish the three-point play the old-fashioned way, up to 10 points. The first player into double digits for either side today. Johnson, again, getting that screen from Hinkle. Works to his right now, drops off for Hinkle. The three will drop for Hinkle. And he's up to 6 points. Second three ball. All his points coming by way of that long-distance shot.
You can only contain him for so long, and the fact that you're limiting him to 6 points with still 5 minutes to go in the half is pretty good for KW. They're just hoping to keep up that pace, really.
Duncan trying to fight through some traffic. Step back, steps over now. Tough shot, and Darren Duncan gets on the score sheet finally here for the first time today after some hard work to get the look even. Now pull-up jumper. That won't go for the edge. That was Brempong missing.
Can't be settling for shots this stage of the game, down double digits like they are.
It's kind of a reversal. We've seen the Titans do that more often than not, kind of rush their shots. And they've proven to be a lot more of a patient bunch here today. Now Rogers with the three. That'll fall. That's Kevin Rogers' second three of the morning. If you're in the Eastern time zone, that is. And now a foul as well being called, and the emotions flaring a little bit. Frustrations perhaps on the side of the edge. And Hinkle complaining he was held up by his jersey, perhaps still pleading his case to that far official. That's the crew chief, Ross Isley. 39-19 Titans lead. Rogers gets the lob pass in. Ellenson, one-on-one with him. Goes baseline, spins back to the key. He's knocked down the arm, and he'll go to the stripe for two.
That's another move by Rogers where you see the help defender Haas come in, who already had Ellenson on him. Usually looking to pass, but undisciplined play by the defense there. If you got a double team down low, you got to force him to pass. You can't give him a trip to the line.
You certainly have to credit Rogers in that instance as well. More often than not, we would have seen in previous games or attempts that Rogers would have tried to take that contested jumper baseline, but held on the ball for an extra second, took that step and spin move, and again attracted the extra traffic and the eventual foul call.
It's just a team that seems to play much more better when they're relaxed, as most teams do, but not rushing shots and not forcing anything. Take those fouls and take that trip to the line if they're going to give it to you.
Glaze steps in now off the bench for Brempong. Kind of unique there, seeing a handshake as they trade spots. Ellenson. Hands off to Haas. Haas with speed. Off his left side, and he's fouled as he went up. And it's going to be Hall, and that's his third personal already. So with 3:41 to go in the quarter, up 41-18, exactly what thought might happen here with Nigel Titer coming in the ball game. And one would assume 35 is going to sit the rest of the way until halftime.
And gotta like the idea there with Haas going against Hall, where Haas uses his speed and tries to get Hall flat-footed, force him to foul.
Haas drains that free throw. Here's Russell Bird, who's also checked back in. Rogers decides to shoot. A little heavy on the touch. Long rebound gathered by Johnson. Johnson cuts through some traffic. Here's a three from the edge. Tough shot is made by Williams. Corin Williams with his first career basket with the edge. Rogers, recipient of that pass, zips it over here near side for Sutherland. Sutherland gets the partial screen from Titer. Rogers takes a three. No good. Titer gets the loose ball. Goes up, and he's fouled and will drop the two as he'll head to the line for one more. Another chance at a consecutive three-point play for the Titans.
And Titer just doing everything he can. Did not have the positioning inside, but does it with his will and his fight. Goes up and gets it. The three-point play the hard way. Right now is a situation where you got the edge, a team that wants to get to the locker room. Usually the Titans have been in this situation in their last road trip, but now they've got the edge in that situation. And when you've got a team who's eager to get off the floor, you've got to pound them on the scoreboard.
Nigel Titer taking full advantage of his playing time in the early going. We've seen Coach Langis really clear out the whole bench here since the first quarter. Now it's Ellenson driving baseline, pulls up, straight up arms Titer. Good job defensively. Nothing more he could do there as he came out to challenge, but a good shot there by Ellenson to execute. 44-24, 20-point lead for KW, 2:19 left in the first half. Titer takes a bump from behind.
Take those all day. St. John's in the penalty, so now you're shooting free throws the rest of the way, already up 20.
You certainly want to know, let him know as a defender that you're there and you're going to make his life miserable if Titer plans to set up camp down low. But you could tell maybe just a bit too much with that initial arm getting into the back of Titer. The Edge fans here among us complaining that maybe a little too overzealous on the sell to the official. As Titer misses his first free throw. Titer, a 36% free throw shooter, makes his second though. 1 for 2 from his latest trip to the line. And a foul called as he was trying to cut off the guard going baseline. And so this is going to get interesting, especially if Titer, who has a knack of picking up fouls pretty quickly. This could affect the rotation going forward. Speaking of the rotation, looks like Skeet's going to come back in for the Edge here momentarily.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Langis does out of the half as far as the 5 goes. He's got Titer and Hall in foul trouble, but KW still has a large lead. If he sticks with Titer and tries to wait it out and only bring Hall in an emergency situation, especially on the front end of a back-to-back, wouldn't really be surprised to see if he goes that direction.
19-point lead here for KW. Certainly don't want to hand any more momentum over to the Edge going into the locker room at the break. Nice find, Titer open down low, and he finishes it off.
Why not stick with him, eh?
Absolutely, he's finding the seams and was left wide open in the blocks. Here's Williams with a burst of speed off the window and out. Just didn't have the finish there. Sutherland flying in for the board. Duncan with speed drops off for Tyler, who goes up, swatted away. Here's Sutherland on the follow-up. Grazes the front part of the rim, and the foul called. And that's going to go against Hinkle, I do believe. Jerry and Henry, excuse me. So that's his second personal, and Tremar Sutherland going to the line yet again for KW.
St. John's find themselves in a bit of foul trouble. Hinkle, Ellenson, Williams, Henry, all with 2+ fouls now at this point of the game.
Sutherland missing his first. Mentioned off the top, Tremar Sutherland just having joined the 1,000 career points club. Congratulations to number 9 there for the Titans. Had a pretty solid career in the NBL Canada, to say the least. Spent some time in Niagara as well. This shot tipped away. Now Sutherland once more pulls up, and the Titans have 1:13 left on the game clock. Sutherland, good ball movement, corner to corner. Here's Morrow from one of them, and that three-point attempt rattles out. Edge the other way with it. Williams with Morrow and him. Now Henry. Fadeaway J, or step back J, I should say. That will go back to a 20-point lead. Under a minute left in the first half. Duncan gets a screen from Titer. Left it for Bird. Once more to Morrow. Going baseline. He's cut off effectively. Bird, deep three. That'll go. Russell Bird tacks on 3 more for the Titans, up 51-28.
Well, after getting burned inside for the first 22 minutes of the game, you see St. John's. Now they're starting to make the Titans use their jump shot. And, well, how does Landers respond? He brings on Russell Bird back in the game. He's already got Sutherland and Morrow in. They can beat you with the jump shot, too. And that's a problem if you're St. John's, who are now getting destroyed in almost every phase of this basketball game.
So with Russell Bird's latest three-pointer getting on the score sheet for the first time today, just one Titan left off the stat sheet thus far. And that's Kyle Arsenault, who's on the bench at the moment. We saw him earlier on in this ball game. Bird forcing that baseline drive. Now Sutherland off the turnover. Sutherland taking it hard. Denial by a skeet stretch pass. Ryan Henry will finish it off at the buzzer, or just before. And that should stand a count, I would say.
Just got it off in time, and it gives you a bit of traction heading to the locker room. But regardless, the Titans controlling this game in every way, shape, and form.
Kevin Rogers, Derek Hall leading all scorers with 10 heading to the locker room. And Rogers 1 rebound away, in fact, from a double-double. We'll see how all that plays out with the Titans leading at 51-30. We're at halftime here on the NBL Canada, live from Kitchener on YouTube. Welcome back to the start of the second half for this morning affair between the KW Titans and the St. John's Edge, as the Titans leading at 51-30 as we enter the third quarter of play. Kevin Rogers alongside Derek Hall leading all scorers with 10 points apiece. Rogers, though, just a rebound shy of garnering a double-double. Glad you're along with us here live on YouTube. Dan Polstruck along with Ian Jodry. And checking out some of the live chat feed. Some great conversation going on. I can assure you, though, I am not a Newfoundlander by any means, although that's certainly no disrespect to that great accent. Must just be that head cold I'm finding there, Ian. But looking at some of the latest additions to this roster for the Edge, that's what some of the conversation was about. Vasily Churchich, and some debate in terms of how you pronounce that last name of his. Well, we certainly did check with the P announcer here at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium before tip-off, and that's the pronunciation we were given, so we're sticking to it. But he is a former standout with Memorial University in the AUS, the Athletic Atlantic University Conference there. Howdy says the Titans, or the Edge, come flying out of the gate with an early two.
Hinkle and Glaze both on the court for the Edge to start the second half. I'm surprised we didn't see them together more often in that first half, especially considering the talent that the Edge are missing on this trip.
There's Rogers, and now he's officially got that double-double with his 10th rebound of the day. Finds Sutherland baseline, goes up, and the follow-up is no good as well, as the Edge coming away with it. Henry over to Desmond Lee, and showing some emotion there as he was able to execute back-to-back hoops for the Edge.
Talk about a sense of urgency and what the Edge are going to need here in the second half. They're certainly playing with it in the opening minute.
Missed shot there by the Titans. Sutherland tried to tip it back towards Hall. Nothing doing, but Bird stepping into that stretch pass. And now he'll just slow it down.
Great awareness, because 2 trips ago, Glaze beat them down the floor in transition for the easy layup.
And another 3 from Russell Bird, his second of the day. Former Michigan State University player, Russell Bird, in his first year with the Titans. And there is a foul from beyond the arc, I do believe. Yeah. And that's on Tremar Sutherland, so Hinkle's going to go to the line for 3.
Never foul a three-point shooter, and Tremar Sutherland, a veteran of all people, knows that, so you understand his frustration there, picking up his first.
And Hinkle will indeed miss his first.
Just doesn't look himself today. A player that we've seen in the first 2 months this season. Hinkle not quite there this afternoon.
The Express middle of the pack when it comes to the NBL Canada in free throw shooting percentage at 71.5%. 2 for 3 there, though, for Hinkle. Cuts it to an 18-point Titan lead. Titans now with Darren Duncan off the high screen. Over to the corner for Bird. Drives to the lane. Duncan, catch and shoot 3. That rolls out. And it's Jerian Henry with the rebound. Quickly over to Johnson with speed. Puts it back into Duncan. Drops off for Henry. Little give and go here. Tries to go off the screen and kick ball out of bounds. Turnover by the Edge. Some mishandling of the basketball results in that turnover. Bit of a pressure here from Johnson. Finally lets Duncan cross midcourt. Now stepping up is Glaze. Try to get it in for Rogers, and reaching in for the Edge.
Costly foul. Hinkle's third, and he picks it up early in the second half on a play where didn't really need to be over-aggressive. It's actually going to be on Henry, it looks like.
Catch and shoot 3 for Duncan, or deep 2 anyways. That is no good. Glaze at the other end of the floor. Caught the Titans defenders slow getting back. Bird was the last man there. Or the first one, if you want to put it that way.
They've already gone to that play 3 times, and twice it's worked now, where Glaze goes streaking back the other way. Bird left alone to guard him. Forced the turnover once, but so far that's worked on the fast break for the Edge.
Yeah, that stretch pass certainly have exposed KW. Roger just throws it up, and Duncan gets up together in that pass, and now he's going to be fouled. Wow. Roger just throwing it up for hopes and dreams there, and Duncan was there to respond to bail out his teammate.
And of all men to climb the ladder, it's the point guard who goes up and gets it for you. Great effort by Duncan.
The 6-footer on paper, I think he's a little shy of that, but that maintains possession for the Titans, who reset here off the inbounds. Rogers, his three doesn't go. And a foul.
No, that simply just rolled off Lee's hands and out of bounds. It's another turnover and a fresh 24.
So Sutherland was there with Lee, and Lee's still saying he got swatted along with the basketball, but the official saying it was all ball and really touched Lee's hand last. So here's Duncan to inbound. Wide open the corner. Bird for another three. No. Rebound gathered, and it's Hall. Now this is going to be his 4th personal. This is going to get interesting.
Got to get him out.
And right away running to the scores table is Greg Morrow. So the Titans are going to go a little smaller, I think, here. As Hall still pleading his case to official Mike Hardy. But with his 4th, Coach Landers is just saying, all right, cool it. We need you down the stretch here. 54-38 lead. At least they have the luxury of going small at this moment to the Titans.
That was just a bad sequence for KW. First, Bird all alone for 3. Misses. Hall called for a foul. Picks up number 4, and now you send Hinkle to the free throw line, though. He has struggled there tonight.
He makes that one, and it'll still remain Edge basketball. 54-39. The Edge trying to chip away here at this Titans lead. Hinkle gets around Rogers, and off the glass. Nice play by Hinkle in traffic. 54-39. Morrow looking for response. Held up slightly baseline, and that was Glaze. Forces some contact.
It's his 2nd. St. John's got in some foul trouble pretty early in that 2nd quarter, which led to a lot of free trips to the line for the Titans heading to the locker room. You don't want that to happen again.
Here's Morrow. There's a little give and go with Sutherland. Now Roger reach in there. Henry, and that's some poor discipline there by Henry.
He's got number 4 now too.
That's exactly it. You have to appreciate the enthusiasm on the defensive end of the floor, but playing with 3 fouls, now with 4, be mindful of that. There's Bird. Morrow. Once more to Bird as they work the rotation up top. Morrow mishandled it. Sutherland looks at the basket. 2 on the shot clock. Has to let it fly. Air ball there. And some good defense on the stand by the Edge in that instance. And it's going to be a timeout as this 20-plus point lead has now dwindled to just 13 with 8:15 to go in the 3rd quarter.
This is exactly how you did not want to start the 2nd half if you're Coach Landis. Your team's missing easy looks. They're picking up a foul on one of your most crucial players on the floor. You're getting beat the other way by Randy Glaze, who is essentially their 5. Can't have the big man beating you down low the other way. And too many easy buckets in the early going. They've got to tighten up defensively. And you can't quite go into shutdown mode just yet. You're not really at that stage of the basketball game, but you are in control. And right now, it's St. John's coming out with that sense of urgency. And the Titans just seem a bit unprepared for it.
A 6-0 run forces the timeout. KW leading by 19 at the start of this half. Being held just to 3 points out of the gate. Looking very reminiscent, although a 180 of what we saw in the first quarter of play, where KW had scored the Edge 21-9. Front of this continuously boisterous crowd here at the Odd. A lot of kids in attendance, being the school day game. They're Happy to be out of class and checking out some NBL Canada action. What was your excuse, Ian? You get the note from your parents to be here today?
Yeah. Doctor's appointment. You know,
yes.
Your dad pulls you out of school and you go to the game.
Out at the timeout. Called by Coach Langis. We'll see the defensive effort now from the Titans. That's not a very good one there, as there's an emphatic and easy slam for Desmond Lee. Down to an 11-point lead. Sutherland over to Rogers. Spinning off the baseline. He's stripped and fouled. And that time it was Hinkle.
That's 3 on him now.
And if you're the Titans, you want to continue attacking the basketball, the net.
You might as well, because you look at basically every player on the floor is playing with 2 fouls, at least as far as the crucial one goes. Glaze, Williams, Hinkle, all now with 2+ fouls.
Rogers makes his first. And usually for KW, they find themselves in a position of trying to claw back from a deficit. Kind of unique for them now to having defend a significant lead. I'm curious to see how they handle this, because as we well know, streaks and runs are all part of the game. It's how much you limit them that will be the biggest test here for KW. Up 13 now, and 18 on the shot clock. A foul and off the ball right away, and that's going to be Rogers.
He just picked up 2 fouls in
back-to-back
a second. The
yeah.
clock hadn't even started, so that's 2 fouls in 1 second for Rogers. Went from 1 to 3, just like that.
We're seeing a bit of everything here with Haas going right at Rogers. He has to be careful there. And a chance at a 3-point play now. Glaze with a strong play down low, gathering in that rebound and putting it right back. So Glaze will step up to the line now. He's into double digits, misses the free throw though. And it's an 11-point Titans lead. Here's Duncan. Gets the high screen, doesn't use it though, as he goes to the left instead. Duncan gets away into some open space, try to find Tighter, who is tied up, and away goes Hinkle. Hinkle slashes in. The lay-in is shy, but he stays with it. It's a fresh shot clock now with 7 minutes to go in the third. Glaze posting up. Nice float in there off of Morrow. Can't finish. Glaze, he's got to put that back.
Oh, despite forcing the miss, you're not liking what you're seeing from the Titans in this last bit of this last sequence. The 2 guys that you knew were going to try and fill in for English, and Hinkle and Glaze, are really starting to catch fire here this half.
Morrow for 3. That'll rattle in, and the Titans boost their lead again. And a bit maybe a sigh of relief from these fans. 59-45 after we continue to see strong play from the edge. Some good aggressiveness. Lee taken right to the rack. Looking for a foul call maybe, but none forthcoming. Here's Morrow. Morrow, he slashes in himself. Nearly lost the handle. Here's Duncan. He slows it down here. Trying to get his teammates in position to get this pass, and it's Rogers, his first one, with a lay-in. Nice finger roll from 23. Rogers up to 14 now on the afternoon. Johnson trying to fight through that screen, and he uses it effectively as Duncan couldn't. Decent lane to the basket, and he is able to take advantage. Now Duncan. We thought this would be a good matchup, and it has been. Duncan and Johnson up top. Sutherland. So Rogers over to Tighter, and he's fouled as he went up.
And Tighter just got wrapped up there. He was going to have an easy lay-in, forcing the lead of foul. And great rotation there.
Desmond Lee's third. We've got Ellenson and Brempong coming on. Glaze heading off for the edge. along with the aforementioned Lee, and Titer will head back to the free throw line where he's 2 for 3 today. Free throws up and good. Second free throw, nothing but net. Nigel Titer 2 for 2 on his most recent trip. Averaging 3 points a game in just about 7 minutes of action. He's certainly seen more of that today. There's a response from the edge.
Ellenson fresh in the game, looking to do damage. And he's going to have to play that big role we mentioned off the bench, of course, at that 2 spot with no English on the trip.
Here's Nigel Titer again on his left hand. Loses it momentarily. Now he does definitively to Alex Johnson. Off the knee of Hinkle, bouncing around, and we have a hold being called by the official going against the edge as the Titans were trying to chase down that loose ball that went off the knee of Hinkle. And it's Desmond Lee again, and that's number 4 for him. And I'm not sure if that can be Lee because he's not even on the floor right now. I think it's Johnson, in fact.
I believe it is Johnson. That would only be foul number 2 on him.
So they'll certainly take that trade off, will the edge, I'm sure. As we saw Lee head off a few seconds ago, but coming on here is Skeet momentarily as Stark settles in for his first free throw, as we have a bonus situation now with 4:54 to go in the third. And Henry will also join the rest of his edge teammates on the floor momentarily. And Starks going 2 for 2. So Hinkle heads off. 65-49, 16-point Titan lead. As they've kind of worn off that slow start to begin the third quarter. There's a corner 3, that'll fall. So that substitution providing dividends there with Skeet coming on the floor and draining a 3 almost immediately. Rogers, James, now back to Rogers. Puts his right shoulder down. Now he's doubled. Haas comes down. Work there by Rogers. Some tough work. Titer goes hard down, right onto the chest of Hinkle.
That's going to be an over-the-back foul, and I think it is going to go on Hinkle.
And Coach Dunlap is arguing that he maybe had some inside position.
If that is on Henry, that's his 4th or 5th.
That is indeed Henry being helped off the floor. And for Henry, that'll be number 5. So the tough times continue here for the edge. Dealing with some adversity now with Hinkle. And his 3 fouls coming on the floor momentarily. He's going to have to wait until his free throw. Well, maybe not. So Henry, who looks okay, is good for him because with a big body like Titer falling on him.
Now you're going to start juggling those two as far as what you do with the 3. Hinkle with 3 fouls, Jerry and Henry with 5. And English's absence really being felt here in this St. John's lineup.
Titer's first is good. The second one, a little short. Now here's Hinkle. Gets it over to Ellenson, driving the lane. One bounce pass, tough one for Brempong to handle, and they're going to say it remains edge ball. Titans trying to sell it otherwise, but nothing doing. Wally Ellenson, the older brother of former NBA draft pick, 2016, 16th overall, Henry Ellenson, by the Detroit Pistons. Gathers in the pass now. Ellenson on the left side, and he's fouled as he went up.
That might be on Rogers. That would be his fourth. And indeed it is.
So 2 big men on your roster playing with 4 fouls. That's Hall, who we haven't seen for a while, and now Rogers.
Tyder's already on the court, but he hasn't exactly been shut down in terms of a 5 or 4.
So this is going to get interesting here with Russell Bird ready to check in for KW, likely for Rogers.
So with that, it looks like Tyder's going to move to the center. Then we got Bird, who's more of a traditional 2-3, forced to play down low.
$66-54. Titans with under 4 minutes to go. Starks. Over to Morrow. One more time to James. Tighter now inside. Goes up against 2 defenders. Gets his own rebound. Going up one more time. Some great work there by Nigel Tighter. Playing with a lot of confidence here this afternoon.
Seems to be playing with a chip on his shoulder, knowing that he's got to pick up the slack for his other big men who are getting into foul trouble. And he's had a tough day in some terms, but looking good on that last trip.
And there, Brempong with a smooth follow-through on that shot. Gets 2 right back for the edge, 68-56. Starks over to Morrow once more. Bird finds Starks. It's an interesting matchup here with Starks dishing it off to James on Ellenson. Now once more, give it to the hot hand. They're trying to find Tighter anyways. Now Bird, pull up 3. He's denied by Brempong. Some good defense there. As the Edge maintain now possession. It's Skeet pulling up with James on him. Nice floating pass to Ellenson down low. The shot doesn't fall. Looking for a foul. Pleading his case. Now he has to fight back to his feet to get back defensively. Now a foul is indeed called at the other end of the floor, though. So Ahmad Starks heads to the free throw line. Set to shoot 2. Starks at 57% free throw shooter, averaging just shy of 17 points a game with KW.
An acquisition in a few games into this season, Starks kind of seem to be just what KW needed, searching for that star player. He don't know if you necessarily call him that yet, but as far as their star scorer goes and the #1 point guard, he's certainly filled in well.
Had a decent career with Oregon State in the NCAA. There's a good-looking floater. Step back by Hinkle to make it a 12-point game now. And going back to Starks in 10 games played. He had 23 and 17 in the last 2 games against St. John's. James going baseline. Tough pass forced from him. Now Skeet. The pass found the hands of Skeet. Hinkle with Morrow getting back. And they'll reset up top. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Here's Hinkle again. Turnaround 3. A little heavy on the shot. Now Tighter with the board again.
Seemed a bit rushed that time was Hinkle, but the Titans will take it. They're not quite playing with that same rhythm that they did to start the second half.
Stark slashing, throws it up. That was a high floater there and nearly drained it. Now Hinkle going right at both Titans, popped up in the air, and a fresh shot clock now for the Edge. Tighter now, 11.6 rebounds. And Hinkle knocking Starks down, and we have a turnover. And I think it's Ellison stepping out of bounds there, just forgetting his foot placement.
Those are mistakes that cost you. You look at the game when you're down 21, it might not make as big of a difference, but now that you're starting to get some traction as far as the scoreboard goes, that's not what you want to see if you're St. John's. They're bringing Hinkle back into the ball game too.
13 points to his name this afternoon, and St. John's with 14 turnovers, albeit KW has 13 of their own. Here's Morrow. Thought about shooting it. Hands off to Bird instead. Tighter in a battle with Glaze down low. Instead is Morrow taking it right to the rack. Denied by Ellenson. And they'll reset this down low with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Smart decision by Morrow, but just some solid defense shown there by Ellenson. So again, 3 on the shot clock. Can get a quick catch and shoot here. Stark's going to do just that. Nearly had the 3 fall. Hits the front part of the rim. Tighter fighting for the loose ball. And they're going to say it's St. John's who will get this after Tighter touched it last.
Well, regardless, got to like the tenacity from Tighter on the box out. Got the inside positioning and gave himself a chance in the corner. It's not going to work in your favor every time, but creating those opportunities to get a second shot is what you want.
A 28-point third quarter so far for the Edge has got them back within 12. Missed shot there, though, as they'll look to make it a single-point deficit. It's going to be tough now with KW holding on to the basketball with just 20 seconds left in the frame. Starks letting the clock wind down. 5-second differential with the shot clock. Starks dishes off. James for 3. Yes! Denzel James has it fall. That's a big one for KW. Ellenson, tough shot there as he was forced to shoot off on his offhand. And with the horn sounding, that brings an end to the third quarter of play with St. John's cutting into this tight lead. It was 19 at halftime. And for a few brief moments, we saw it dwindle to quite a bit less. But now it's 73-58 heading into the final frame. Closeout time for KW as they're looking for their third win of the season, only their third win on 11 losses. Looking to right the ship here in KW.
Well, this seems to be like the kind of point in the game where you can start to go into shutdown mode. You obviously saw St. John's go on that run to start the second half. Now, of course, you got your 2 big men and Rogers and Hall playing with 4 fouls. Now you can start to rotate them in and out. You know, unless things really get a little too close for comfort, then there's no reason to have them both on the floor at the same time. But as your big guy down low, that limits those points in the paint as far as the opposition goes. I'd like to see him get a little bit more playing time in this fourth quarter and really try and secure this one. You talk about how important this game is for the Titans, and not quite a must-win, but about as close as you can get to it.
It was the third quarter that we saw without the likes of Derek Hall, who put up 10 points to lead all scorers at halftime along with Kevin Rogers. But because of his foul issues with 4 fouls, the Titans went a little smaller, and it was really more so the Nigel Tighter show in that frame for KW anyways. But Charles Hinkle, Granny Glaze stepping up for the Edge in that third quarter as well. It's Hinkle leading the team with 13 points, 7 rebounds. And at the moment, it's Kevin Rogers still maintaining the lead as for all scores. Just 4 points, though, in that third quarter as he was really clamped down on, but he has recorded a double-double with 11 rebounds.
So Rogers and Hall are going to start the fourth on the bench. Not terrible, but I'd like to see what Tighter can do. He's had his chances this year, and we've seen some incredible things from Tighter, but really the inconsistency is what has made him a bit more of a liability on the floor, especially in these high-pressure situations where you're up 15. You can kind of see what he's made of and if he can handle the pressure of the big moment. He's done it on the offensive end and the defensive end today, but what we've seen in the past is where he gets in these foul trouble, and it's all going to be if he can limit that and help keep his big men out of foul trouble as well in this fourth quarter.
We saw a turnover there by the Edge to open the fourth quarter. Edge looking to move to 12-5 on the year. Their 3-game winning streak on the line. The Titans looking to snap a 6-game losing streak of their own. And still, they have played the least amount of games in the NBL Canada with those 13. Now they're in their 14th game this season. It's a busy stretch they're in, though. Starks, catch and shoot 3. That's a contested shot there. Tough one for Starks. Some good defense from the Edge. And here they go the other way. Johnson over to Hinkle. Johnson gets the return pass. Bounce over to Glaze. Heavy off the glass. Johnson in pursuit. Drops off for Williams. The three. That'll fall. Back to a 12-point Titan lead. The Edge still hanging around. Bird, no?
Haven't seen much of Williams today, but he's still a dangerous shooter that you can't give a look like that to.
Corn Williams making his NBL Canada debut. Just signed after the release of Rashawn Brodus. Now Johnson off the miss. Williams pulls up for another three. That one doesn't look as good. Long rebound, though, gathered in by Hinkle. The Edge will settle things down with a fresh shot clock. Just underway here in the fourth. Dan Polshik along with Ian Jodry. Glad you're along with us on YouTube. That three ball, again, will miss. Another offensive rebound, though, for the Edge.
Three chances, and they're not rushing anything. Just a 12-point game now. They're playing with a sense of urgency, but not as high of a tempo as they were earlier on.
Back over to Hinkle. Beats Sutherland. Hinkle right to the rack, and he'll take it to line for two. And you have to appreciate the patience that the team is showing, because they know they're going to be limited with the amount of trips to get off the floor. They want to make every offensive possession count.
And indeed, it looks like Coach Landis has called the Edge's bluff. He's going to bring Hall back into the game. And 12 points is a little too close for comfort for him. He needs to see them go in a shutdown mode. And
well, we saw it there with back-to-back offensive rebounds. The Titans lacking a presence in the paint at the moment. And Hall, he's a veteran. He knows the situation. He's got 2 fouls, or really just 1 foul to give. Playing with 4. 73-62, Titans lead fourth quarter. Here's Starks. Gets it over here to James. One bounce in to Hall, and the reach in by Glaze.
That's his fourth.
And that's what Hall brings, not only on the defensive end. We know what he can do there, but just trying to defend him as he posts up is so tough to do, and I do not envy Glaze with that task as he heads off now on the substitution. As Brempong checking in for him. Sutherland, Starks finds Hall at the top of the key rather. Sutherland looked at taking the three, pulls up to shoot just as the shot clock expired. Good defensive stand by the Edge. Catch and shoot three from Hinkle. That's off the mark. He's missed the last pair of threes now. He's attempted. Starks off the screen by Tyler, and now Hall. Over to the corner. Inside to Titer. Slashing in. Oh, Sutherland thought he might go for the reverse there, but finds James in the corner, the three ball, and a battle for the rebound. And they're going to call the foul there, I do believe, on Ellenson. Or now they're saying
it looks
Titer.
Like it's on Titer. Now he's in trouble with 4 of his own. All Rodgers and Titer all in foul trouble. Oh, no, they're actually going to call that on Ellenson. So there's
2 fouls?
Offsetting fouls. So in that situation, it will stay Titans ball.
8:58, plenty of time in this fourth quarter. But now 3 key cogs of this Titans offense, at least today, in significant foul trouble. Bird over to Sutherland. The 3, back rim and out. Long board, gathered by Bird. Sutherland looked to do it again. Inside, settles for Hall down low. Bouncing around his feet, gathered it in just in time. Morrow, Bird for 3. That was challenged at the side of the backboard. And now the Titans have to get back defensively. Trying to make it a single-digit deficit for the first time, first time in a long time, really, for the Edge. Johnson faked the 3, just a couple steps in. Give and go here with Ellenson. Faked out Morrow. Pulls up at the line, but the follow-up putback by Ellenson is good after the air ball. And Now we do indeed have a 9-point lead only for KW. What was 19 at halftime. The Edge are fighting back. Ahmad Starks. Hall in a battle down low with Brempong, and who's this going to go against?
It's on Brempong. Big break. You can't afford Hall to take another one, but that's why they've got Brempong in the game, just hoping that they can keep the Edge within striking distance now, within single digits, and then if need be, bring Glaze back into the game, and you've got yourself a bit more of a chance.
Morrow looking for a good possession. Here are the Titans. Gets it over. Inside the Hall. Open look from Morrow. And at the last second, Ellison was able to make up some ground and get a hand in the face on Morrow. Might have even gotten a piece of that shot. A nice dish inside, and Brempong finishes it off. 7-point lead now for the Titans.
What a pass by Charles Hinkle. Give him the dime on that one, and now Langis looks like he's pressing the panic button as Rogers going to come back into the game. 8-0
run for the Edge to start this fourth quarter. Morrow, the Bird. Bird, couple of jab steps towards Hinkle. Pulls up, fade away, Jay. That won't go, and the Titans' shooting struggles continue. Under 7 minutes to go in the ball game now.
Not a good look. You go one-on-one with one of their best defenders, and you settle for a step back. Not what you need at this stage of the game.
That shot, long rebound, missed by Williams with the follow-up. That one also off the mark. Tip ball up in the air. Johnson gets it, and the Edge showing some good hustle on those long rebounds.
They've shown their desire to shoot the three the last two. They're going to probably go inside here.
Ellenson, a heck of a job to save that ball. But in the end, it's Ahmad Starks getting held up. And with the Titans having significant numbers going the other way, probably a smart foul for Corin Williams to take. Going back to Russell Bird, 2 of 9 from the floor, but 2 of 8 from beyond the arc. That three-point shot just isn't working for him today. As the Titans now shooting under 39%, 38.1 to be exact. They were shooting well over 50 after the first quarter of play, and that's certainly gone down, obviously. 6:26 to go. We've got a timeout on the floor with the Titans leading it by 7. It's going to be a good finish here at the Kitchen Memorial Auditorium. We're pleased that you're along with us to see how it all unfolds on YouTube. Dan Polishik along with Ian Jodry. The Titans, you mentioned, are in a busy stretch as they've returned home now for this school day game. And, oh, who is it tomorrow night again that they're facing?
The Moncton Magic.
Oh, yes, another East Coast team. Always like to welcome those Atlantic Province teams here. And it's not too often that we get to see them, but that Moncton team will be in the house tomorrow.
And not to mention, they were part of that record-setting game with the Lightning the other night, the one that went to double overtime. They combined to set the most record for most points between two teams. The Magic set the record for most field goals attempted in a game. In total, there was 3 NBL Canada records set in that one game at Budweiser Gardens.
Moncton, having lost that one, now loses the back-to-back games, coming in at 10-10. This game today being the lone one in the NBL Canada. Magic 5-5 in their last 10. They look to come in, and with the Titans on short rest, look to take advantage. And always much is said about these teams having to adjust their regimens, if you will, to such an early start, but I think we've seen that kind of on the scoreboard with just 73-66 in the fourth quarter. But the energy level certainly has been there. The shooting just hasn't been, though. Rogers gets a pass, finds Bird in the corner. That will finally fall for Russell Bird. After a brief hiatus from the score sheet, Russell Bird with a big 3 right there. His third of the game.
Well, Bird was in the starting 5, but only played 6 minutes in the first quarter, and that speaks to the struggles that he had in the early stages of the game. And it didn't come back until late before the half. Then you got a chance here. Back up double digits, 5:52 to go. Obviously, you can't take your foot off the gas pedal, but you're not as pressed for quick scores here. Now you can kind of milk the clock. Make them come to you.
Back to a double-digit Titan lead. Hall again to Bird. That's their plan. They want to get to a corner and stretch the floor and then distribute as they do. There, Rogers tried to go up and a no jump ball being called. But it will be a change of possession here as the arrow is pointing in the Edge's direction. Here's Hinkle, contested 2. That doesn't go, and Hinkle has been struggling now shooting-wise
and
the last few minutes.
That's not going to help shooting against a double team. There's not a good look there for the St. John's team, who's suddenly within striking distance for the first time, it seems, all game.
Bird, fake the shot, step back, finds Hall down low. Hall, a couple moves, and that'll fall. Double team on Hall, but he's still able to get that bucket up to 12 for him. Down low, Bird on Ellenson. And that's a great effort by Wally Ellenson. Down low, poor angle, right into the basket.
Well, as much as you don't like to see a team get shoot up in the paint, you almost take it there considering they had 3 guys on him. And 2 of them were Hall and Rogers playing with those 4 fouls. You'll give them the 2 and try and save those personals for later in the game.
2 players down on the floor. It's again Bird, and it looks like Johnson. Check that. Williams getting up a little bit lame as he's got a limp to his gait and I think it's his right ankle that's maybe affecting him at the moment. We'll see how he comes out of the huddle with a timeout being called with 4:32 to go in regulation. 10-point Titan lead. And a great matchup coming up with the Edge taking on the London Lightning tomorrow night as well. I'll be down at the Budweiser Gardens as they'll make the hour trip down the 401, the main artery here in Ontario. For those tuning in from Newfoundland, might not be aware. And certainly KW, a natural rivalry with the London Lightning. In a myriad of sports, including the NBL Canada, although it's been a one-sided battle for the most part, Titans having lost now 9 straight to the defending champion London Lightning.
And that dates back to that overtime when we saw here
last year.
And something that really seemed to give a jolt to this franchise, who was just fresh in the league, that big overtime win, but they have not really found success against the defending champs since that one game. But you better believe they'll get plenty more chances.
Well, this is a big challenge here for St. John's. As good as the record stands, anytime you lose, your leading scorer, and not to mention one of the top scorers in the entire league, to a broken nose, a potential concussion, at least for an extended period of time, and this road trip in particular, that's some big-time adversity, and some character building will come quickly for the St. John's team away from home. Now dealing with a 10-point deficit and 4:20 left in this ballgame. And that pass is intercepted by Duncan. Outlet to Sutherland, finds Bird on the fly. The lay-in doesn't fall. Hall there for the putback, denied by Hinkle on the 7-footer.
Shot clock does not reset, though.
Good decision there by Bird to take that extra step. He needed it, though, on that shot. Drains down to 3.
And with all the stress and scrambling going on the edge for the Edge there, they did not reset in time, and Bird all the time in the world to pull the trigger.
And as he went up to shoot, that was Lee getting fouled. And for Duncan, that's his 3rd, I do believe. Free throw there for Lee is good. Lee looking to make it a 6-point night for himself. Some flashy kicks that he's wearing here this evening too. Just noticed those with a bit of a break. Should have brought my sunglasses in for those ones. Either way, here's Duncan now off those free throws. Titans up 11. Rogers. Sutherland loses it. Turnover, and Hinkle on the break. He's fouled by Duncan on the reach-in.
Hinkle went down hard. I don't know if it was Duncan who gave him the extra shove, because size mismatch-wise, that does not really match up. But Hinkle went crashing into that front row.
So that is number 3 for Duncan. 4 Titans playing with 4 fouls. And right now, 3 of them are on the floor. Kevin Rogers, Derek Hall, Russell Bird. But they're your closeout guys. You need them on the floor. Granted, Bird's shooting struggles have been well documented tonight, although he's got now 4 3-pointers, and he's going to head off as checking in Ahmad Starks.
2 big ones in the fourth quarter, and the Titans would really not be where they are without him today in the fourth. Just when you're about ready to hit the panic button, Bird, 2 great looks from 3, and he's made no mistake, but overall, you're going to go with your guy in the fourth, and that's Ahmad Starks.
Said he's ready for the limelight of the NBL of Canada. Certainly has garnered him a tough skin playing on the playgrounds in Chicago. Some prodigious players coming out of that city too. Here's Sutherland with the 3. That's a big-time basket for the veteran. Shamar Sutherland, 1,000 points club, and he has that tally with a big 3 there.
That might just be the dagger that they needed.
Hinkle fakes out Hall, clear lane to the basket, and he finishes it off with a left-handed roll.
Again, you'll take that, but no need to rush here.
And no need to foul on the reach in there. Smart move by Hall just to let him go. 10-point Titan lead, under 3 minutes left. Duncan finds Starks in the corner. That 3 doesn't go. Battle for the rebound. And there you see a bit more timid Rogers trying to fight for that loose ball. Good distribution and the putback here for Lee. And we've got, again, a single-digit deficit. The Edge continue to battle.
St. John's has 2 timeouts left. And if Titans score here, don't be surprised at all if Coach Dunlap burns one.
And Wally Ellenson is going to get called on the reach-in foul.
That's his 5th.
Caught the arm of Sutherland, according to referee Ross Isley. So with the bonus situation, Sutherland will head to the free throw line. And that's a big foul there.
Not only puts them in the penalty, but you look at the Titans, they've got 2 to give. You can bet if this game gets a little too close for comfort that they'll be using them.
Sutherland 2 for 4 from the free throw line, but picks up that rebound off the miss. And a fresh shot clock here.
And now you can burn those 20 seconds off the clock. And the Titans in no rush to get a shot off here.
And that's exactly what Coach Langis is indicating along the sideline. Work this clock. Duncan, the veteran, gets it over to his fellow vet in Hall. Rogers back to the hoop. Turns, shoots baseline. That'll fall. Just as the shot clock was set to expire, Kevin Rogers with a big bucket. And we've got a technical, and it's going to go on Hinkle, I think.
The frustration just seems to be boiling over.
And he goes over to the crew chief after that call was made by Ryan Bissonette.
And then Johnson heaved one after.
So credit the Edge for battling back in this one, but it looks like the comeback might come a little short. Starks hits the free throw. Back to 12-point Titan lead.
They'll get the ball back as well.
Minute 39 left. And the Titans, things are looking good for win number 3. They needed it desperately. Duncan gets the screen from Hall. Over to Rogers, back inside to Hall. Power dribble out to Rogers for the three. That rims out. Henry with the rebound for the Edge. And it's Johnson moving it up ahead quickly for St. John's. Nice defense there by Starks, who stripped Johnson. Now Lee for the three. Nothing but net. And
now they're going to burn it.
They're going to burn that timeout indeed. Jeff Dunlap coming out quickly.
Now you're in a situation.
Now they're saying no timeout here for
Dunlap,
whatever reason.
Clearly motioning for a timeout. I don't know if he wants to save it.
So some confusion here.
It's the first time I've ever seen a coach call a timeout, then take it back, especially in this situation where you got two of them. You think you might use one now, set your troops in. Because now that KW gets that ball in bounds, now they're in full control.
Wow, look at Starks break through three defenders. That was the job, especially after Darren Duncan fell on the inbounds play.
They have to foul. They have no choice but to foul here. And the fact they're letting all this time burn off the clock is just helping the Titans put this one in the bag. And he stepped out of bounds, but it's going to stay Titans ball, and Coach Lanchis is furious.
Right in the face of the official. And now a timeout being called by St. John's head coach Jeff Dunlap, and both with their beefs with the crew, but either way, with the Titans holding on to a 9-point lead, 47.9 seconds on the clock, they certainly can't let up defensively. And you might be able to hear over microphones much of that school day crowd still hanging around for the finish of this one. And they've been a boisterous one, a loud group, as you expect, all game long. Certainly a cool initiative. We've seen this happen across multiple sports, multiple leagues. It certainly helps grow this game at the grassroots level in terms of interest and exposure as well. And for those Titans fans tuning in, KW Titans will be back in action, as we mentioned a short while ago, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. tip-off against Moncton.
Now in that huddle, you can imagine St. John's, they're not just talking about how they're going to score, but more importantly, what they're going to do to try and force a turnover. That's basically your only hope, barring some missed free throws. And the Titans are sending some of the best free throw shooters out there, knowing that all they have to do is get the ball in. The Edge are already, of course, in the penalty, so have to stripe the rest of the way.
Williams, the newcomer to inbound here for St. John's. Henry gathers it in. Catch and shoot three, blocked by Sutherland. And throwing it up, foul called on Rogers though. But one effort there by Sutherland to challenge that three, deny it. But fortunately for the Edge, they had the follow-up opportunity.
5 on Rogers now, so keep an eye on him. Although you've only got 43 seconds left, you'd like to keep him on the floor just for his size and presence that he brings in his final minute.
Lee, a perfect 3 for 3 now from the free throw line, looking to make it 4 for 4, and he does. 7-point Titan lead now, and a timeout called by Coach Langis of KW. 43.7 ticks of the clock remain.
And you've got one left, and in this situation, it's just going to be about how do we get the ball in here and make sure that we get to the free throw line, a chance to ice this game. But they didn't allow the 3 on the last possession, so still a 3-possession game. You're in the driver's seat in every way, shape, and form here. It's just about letting this one not slip away.
Nothing has come easy for KW this season, to say the least, and win number 3, which is in their grasp, is going to be very similar in that respect, of being hard-earned, but I'm sure Coach Langes is hoping for the opportunity to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, although he won't be able to do it for at least the next 43.7 seconds.
The fact of the matter is that this team is going to have to face eventually is you pick up win number 3, It comes here at home. That's where all 3 of your wins have come. Eventually, you're going to have to find a way to win away from these friendly confines.
So the Titans with Starks, Duncan, Bird, Rogers, and Hall. The edge counter with Brempong, Johnson, Williams, Lee, and Henry. And it's Duncan to inbound. Long arms of Brempong looking to deny. Starks gathers it in. He's nearly knocked out of bounds. Duncan splits the defenders, nearly did anyways. A reach in. And it's Lee on the foul call. That's his 4th for Desmond Lee. So with a bonus situation now, which has been in place a little while, Duncan will step up and have the first one rim out.
You drain one here, it still stays a 3-score game, so no big reason to rush here. Just want to take your time. Make them work for their scores here.
8-point lead, under 40 seconds left. Johnson gets the screen. Duncan stays with him and pulls up for the 3. That is no good. Hall fighting for the loose ball. Foul called.
Looks like it is going to go on Hall.
Number 5 for him.
Hall and Rogers fouled out if they each pick up one more, and St. John's has the ball here.
And KW with one more to give.
No, they got no more.
Got me there, but Brempong with a jumper there makes it a 6-point deficit again. 2-possession game here. And a foul called will send the Titans back to the free throw line.
That's what you had to do, though. Time is of the essence in every way, shape, and form. 2-score game. Now you just got to hope for some more missed free throws. That's really all you can do if you're St. John's. You got one timeout left. Try and save it here for if the game becomes a little more in your grasp.
Titans 76% from the free throw line today. And Sutherland now 3 of 5. Make that 4 of 6. Couple big buckets there. Bird up tight on Williams. Williams, he pulls up for the 3. That'll go. 5-point ball game, 20.5 left.
Got to get the ball in here.
Oh.
Bird and Rogers are too far up court, but that's going to cost the edge.
And they're arguing, and now Dunlap with a technical, Johnson with the foul initially on the hold. And Dunlap just raising his hands in disbelief, frustration, whatever you want to call it at this point.
And barring any miracles, that technical just about does it.
Duncan 1 for 2 from the free throw line today. Makes his first. Jamar Sutherland is going to be checking out with Ahmad Starks coming back into the ball game for KW. And now the second free throw from Duncan, which is good.
And they get the ball.
Now Bird trying to find an outlet, tipped away. Brempong lost a handle on that pass attempt. He was caught in between, wanting to pass and dribble, I think. Or he wanted to pass it over to the wing and wanted to hold up at the last second, but by that point, he left his hand. 12 seconds left. Bird on the inbounds. Finds some space. Hall with 5 seconds. Up to Duncan, and that's going to do it. Over to Rogers. And the Titans' losing streak is over at 6 as they record win number 3 in the campaign. But boy, it wasn't easy. St. John's without team leading scorer Carl English due to injury. put up a battle here. They come up a little short on the first game of an extended road trip here to Ontario. It's KW with a 94-86 win.
And now 2 of their 3 wins on the season have come against this St. John's Edge team, who was proven to be so strong to start the year, so strong in their first year in existence. It makes you wonder, why are they having such success against a team like this? But at this point, you don't ask any questions. They'll kick off the homestand with a win, and certainly what they needed at this stage of the season.
2 players recorded double-doubles in today's ballgame. Charles Hinkle of the Edge leading all scorers in the end with 18 points and 11 rebounds on 5 for 15 shooting. Kevin Rogers for KW had a great night himself, 16 and 11. Jamar Sutherland, 14 points as well. And the Titans feeling a little bit better here with this first ever school day game, bringing the energy they needed as they came hot out of the gate and were able just to hold on just enough for this 8-point victory. They'll be back in action tomorrow night right here at the Kitchen Memorial Auditorium against the Moncton Magic. So for Ian Jodry and the rest of the entire production staff, I'm Dan Paulchuk. Good afternoon from Kitchener.